Welcome to This Explainer. Tonight in America, while the rest of the world is fast asleep, millions of parents are wide awake. We're talking about a mother working a double shift, exhausted, checking her child's homework through a cracked phone screen. We're talking about a father who's silently skipping meals just so his kids can eat a little better. Or grandparents stepping in to completely raise their grandkids because another generation has just collapsed under the pressure. Today, we're diving deep into the unseen realities and the really quiet sacrifices of modern American parenting. These are the invisible heroes literally holding the fabric of our society together.
So what happens to a nation when the people tasked with raising the exact next generation begin breaking under the weight of sheer survival? It's the ultimate high-stakes question, isn't it? Society rarely stops to ask it, but if we truly want to understand the stability of our civilization, we have to look directly at the people building its foundation. Section 1. The Invisible Heroes, Recognizing the Unseen Sacrifices of Modern Parents.
Our story actually starts on a very specific date, June 1st. You see, this is the Global Day of Parents. But honestly, in modern America, it feels a lot less like a celebration and much more like a blaring societal warning. And the United Nations didn't just invent this concept overnight. Back in 1994, they established the International Year of the Family, which eventually led to proclaiming the Global Day of Parents in 2012. For decades now, global institutions have been warning us that families are the fundamental group unit of society. Children are supposed to grow up in an atmosphere of happiness and love, right? Not in emotional abandonment caused by just crushing economic pressure. But here's exactly where the breakdown happens. Historically, families survived through villages. You had grandparents nearby, stable neighborhood structures, and multi-generational support. But modern America, well, we've kind of glorified independence, haven't we? The thing is, parenting was never meant to be a solo sport. Never. Today, parents are raising children in deep, deep emotional isolation. They're competing with digital addiction, complex algorithms, and this relentless 24/7 comparison culture. The pressure is just absolutely nonstop. Section 2. The Roots of the Crisis. Why modern parenting feels like solitary survival. Let's unpack the 24/7 pressures causing this widespread burnout. There are basically 4 systemic pillars actively cornering parents today. It starts with surging economic pressure. Exploding costs mean many households now require 2 incomes just to tread water. Then, you add to that punishing work cultures that constantly demand productivity over emotional presence. Layer on the relentless perfectionism pushed by social media, and all of this is happening within a massive epidemic of loneliness and declining social trust. It's a perfect storm. And here's the hardest part. Children feel tension in silence. When parents are economically cornered and stressed out of their minds, kids absorb that psychology like sponges. It doesn't happen through big lectures at the dinner table. No, they absorb it through the very atmosphere of the home. Modern work culture ends up forcing this impossible daily ultimatum onto parents. On one hand, you're told to be financially responsible, which too often means missing family dinners, skipping school events, and losing out on vital emotional bonding moments just to pay the bills. Or you choose to be emotionally available, and you risk completely falling behind in a hyper-competitive economy. The guilt generated by this trap? It's absolutely crush it. And then, of course, social media comes in and twists the knife, turning parenting into an exhausting online performance. It tells you that without the perfectly curated home and the flawless family vacation, you just aren't doing enough. But let's be real for a second. Perfection isn't parenting. Connection is parenting. It's about safety, active listening, and true emotional presence. Consumer culture tells parents they need to buy more, but children really just need them to be there. Section 3. The Human Toll. The Quiet Struggles Inside American Homes. Let's look past the macroeconomics for a minute and zoom in on the quiet, highly emotional struggles happening inside American households right now. Consider a single mother in Texas. She's working 2 jobs. She leaves the house before sunrise and returns well after dark. She loves her children more than anything else on earth, but sheer, unavoidable exhaustion has completely stolen her emotional energy. One night, her child quietly looks up at her and says, "Mom, you're always tired." In that single moment, she realizes her child has noticed everything, including the profound toll of her stolen energy. Or think about a father in Detroit who suddenly loses his manufacturing job. He feels this deep, silent shame, right? So he stops talking emotionally. His teenage son, not fully understanding the massive economic weight his dad is carrying, ends up mistaking that silence for rejection. And because neither of them really knows how to communicate this specific kind of pain,
You end up with two entire generations emotionally drifting apart inside the exact same house. And when parents simply can't hold it together anymore, grandparents become America's hidden safety net. Millions of them are increasingly stepping in to provide daily childcare or even raising their grandchildren entirely. And let's be clear, this isn't because retirement suddenly got easier. It's because these families are economically drowning and they literally have no other support system to catch them.
So what does all this mean on a larger scale? Well, when emotional security fails at home, it builds into a full-blown national crisis. We absolutely cannot outsource parenting to algorithms or schools. Without stable family structures, we're seeing declining social cohesion, massive spikes in youth anxiety and depression, heavily strained educational outcomes, and deeply fragmented communities. Society itself starts to become emotionally fractured.
Section 4. How America can respond. Moving from silent struggle to systemic support. Now, the good news is there are highly actionable, multi-level solutions we can implement right now, and it starts right inside our own homes. As individuals and families, we can choose to spend intentional, protected time completely without screens. We can actively practice real emotional communication, rather than just letting silence build walls between us. We can fiercely protect family dinners, even if it's just a chaotic Tuesday pizza night. And most importantly, we can openly express gratitude. Honestly, sometimes the most powerful sentence a parent can ever hear is simply, "Thank you for everything you sacrificed." Stepping one level up, let's look at what our neighborhoods can do. We've got to rebuild our fragmented local support systems. Like we said earlier, parenting should never be an act of solitary survival. Communities need to build local parenting programs, fight hard for affordable childcare support, expand mental health access for overwhelmed parents, and intentionally create those multi-generational networks again. Families need their village back. And on the macro level, structural change is just non-negotiable. If society truly values children, it absolutely must inherently value and protect their parents. Employers and policymakers need to step up and implement better parental leave, genuinely flexible work environments, and family-centered economic policies. Because it's pretty simple. When parents thrive, children thrive. And when children thrive, the entire nation becomes stronger. Section 5. The forgotten truth. The foundation of social stability. Caregiving, love, presence, sacrifice. These aren't just soft values. They are the bedrock foundation of our social stability. As Henry Ward Beecher once beautifully wrote, we never know the love of a parent till we become parents ourselves. It's such a profound reminder that parental sacrifice is almost invisible by design. It's a heavy burden carried entirely out of love, and it's often only truly understood in hindsight, usually after exhaustion or time has taken something away. Parents are the first teachers and the lifelong guides of every single child. The United Nations recognizes this, and psychology completely backs it up. A parent's love and their presence literally become the internal voice that a child is going to carry for the rest of their life. They are, quite literally, the architects of a child's internal resilience. And that resilience, that gives children their single greatest tool, learning how to live without fear. A supportive, present parent acts as the bridge between unconditional love and a child's courage to face a really volatile, complicated world. So, what's our big takeaway here? Forgive what can be forgiven. Appreciate what was sacrificed. The world might not always see the daily struggle of the modern parent, but make no mistake, the future is being shaped by their love every single day. Call your parents. Thank them. Take the time to heal those past emotional wounds. I want to leave you with a lingering question to think about. Instead of always asking how successful we're becoming, we really need to ask, what kind of families are we becoming? If this explainer resonated with you today, I'd love to encourage you to drop a comment below with a specific sacrifice your parents made that you'll just never forget. And be sure to subscribe to stay with us for more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world. Thanks for being here.